Compared to the warriors that you've encountered, the Sand People storyteller is relatively calm in his movements and speech, but he still regards you coldly.
Translation. He identifies himself as the storyteller, Master.
You don't
he has
say.
been told of your warrior skills and will speak the history to you.
Tell him I am honored, and ask him what he records.
Translation. Translation. There is only one accepted history, passed orally to each successive generation. Translation. A book or datapad can be taken away, cheapening the value of what it contains. To commit it to paper or storage is to remove it from the people.
But oral histories are often inaccurate as well, getting grander with each telling. But I suppose just ask him what topics we can choose from.
Translation. Translation. You may choose to hear the history, or you may choose not to. Their history is a single entity that cannot be partitioned. Translation. The only exception is in continuing the tales once they have begun. If you leave, when you return, he will continue from where he left off.
Well, we better get started then.
Translation. Translation. It begins with the ancient times. They were not sand people, for there was no sand. The land was green with life, and they walked without wrappings. Translation. Though the land was beautiful, they lived apart from the land. They built their walls high and saw beyond the horizon. They dared to reach the stars. Translation. There are no words for how long ago this was. It was before the outsiders, before the abduction, before the cities fell, before the builders.
I want to ask questions about what I've heard so far.
Cautionary. I should warn you, Master, that any questioning of their interpretation may be seen as trying to change the meaning of what was said. Clarification. They may consider this to be speaking the words in error, a blasphemy they would attempt to kill you for.
Yes, I don't care, though. I want to ask some questions about the ancient times. We need to know what had happened. This is relevant to our quest.
Clarification. It would appear that they once had a thriving technologically advanced society, but were wiped out by a much more sophisticated alien species.
Is there anything in the galactic record that could verify this?
Negative. I am no library, but since there is no Republic record of this planet having sentient life before Zerka colonization, I doubt you will find such evidence.
It makes no difference. The Republic record in that regard is incorrect. The Sand People have been here long before any Zerka colonization took place. Ask him if these builders resemble any modern species.
Translation. Translation. He only understands the builders as an iconic force meant to test the resolve of his people. He is not making sense, Master. Clarification. They claim their stories are repeated unchanged, but they have demonized these builders. In their minds, they wreaked such havoc they could not possibly be flesh and blood.
Ask if they have an image we could compare with the current species.
Cautionary. Master, this line of questioning may be interpreted as attempting to change the story. He may react poorly.
Why would that be attempting to change the story, to find out who the builders were? Alright. We'll forgo that line of questioning. Can he clarify how long ago Tatooine was green with life?
Doubting. I don't believe he can, Master. Even if their stories are exact and unchanged, it is likely they were first told thousands of years after these events occurred.
Yeah.
This has become very much like a creation myth for his people. There is no date. It simply was.
Let's return to my other questions.
Obedient. I will ask whatever you wish, Master.
Continue the history from where we left off.
Translation. Translation. His arrogant people touched the stars, and this sin drew the attention of the builders. The builders did not touch the stars, they lashed them to millstones.
Wow.
Translation. Great demons of metal stripped the world of its riches until all that was left was the green of the ground. The great cities were lifted away. Translation. Those that had used the wealth were taken along with it. Transgressors abducted to serve past the sky, seeding the stars with penitent, adaptable slaves.
I want to ask questions about what I've heard.
Cautionary.
Yes, yes.
Remember my warning, Master. They may consider certain questions to be speaking the words in error, a blasphemy they would attempt to kill you for.
I want to ask something about the time of enslavement.
Clarification. I believe they were occupied by this technologically superior species for a substantial period. Stripping an entire planet of usable resources would have taken generations.
How many of his people were taken off-world?
Translation. Translation. He has no number. He claims that those that were taken were examples of the worst of his kind, arrogant and uncaring of the land. Doubtful, Master. This is just another distortion due to their demonization of the builders. It's like claiming an aspect of his people were taken, not actual individuals.
Oh.
Clearly, history has colored his view. Of course, only the inferior meatbags were taken. The remaining were his ancestors, after all. It must have been special.
No, I don't think we'll be suggesting that he rethinks it. That would be a very bad idea. Why would the invaders have done this?
Obvious. The same reason Zerka Corporation is attempting it now.
Yes.
Expanding empires need tremendous amounts of resources.
Continue the history from where we left off.
Translation. Translation. There came a time when the builders were also judged for their crimes. After generations, a plague weakened them, and the time of the Great War began. Translation. The builders faltered, and his people realized why they had been punished, so that they understood the crime, and would now strike down the greater offender. Translation. They worked chaos in the machines, so they destroyed themselves. The builders fought back, laying waste to the green that had been misused with fire from above. Translation. Soil became glass, grinding to sand, but the fight was long planned, and his people were safe. Deep in cave homes carved from valley wall, they were free.
I have questions about what I've heard.
Cautionary.
Yeah. I want to ask something about the Great War.
Clarification. The occupying force suffered some sort of species-wide plague that lowered their numbers over time.
Right.
His people used this extended weakness to sabotage their larger ships. The response of the builders appears to have been to lay waste to the entire surface of Tatooine.
Wow. How could they repel such a powerful species?
Doubting. They didn't, Master. They struck a blow, but the storyteller only believes they won because the builders were gone when they emerged from their caves. That does not mean they defeated anyone. It seems clear that the builders simply sterilized their problem and left. The enemy judged them not worthy to fight.
Not gonna ask him if it's possible, because we know how that's gonna go. What kind of weapon could do so much damage?
Clarification. I may not have properly conveyed how long they fought with the builders. Given time, any number of armaments could destroy a world.
They just glassed it then.
Perhaps this is another distortion. Their climate may have begun to fail due to their unrestrained development even before the builders arrived.
Right.
Looking back thousands of years later, such a shift could easily be attributed to the much-hated conquerors.
How could they survive such an attack?
Hypothesis. If his people were moving away from technology for a long time under the builders, they may have had extensive cave systems that could grant shelter. I would also suggest that, given the evidence of the massive shift in the nature of their society, most of them did not survive.
Let's return to my other questions.
Obedient.
Continue the history from where we left off.
Translation. Editing, if I may, Master. This section of his tale details several millennia of the long walk, their nomadic wanderings as they accept their identity in a desert world.
Yeah.
Rather than strain my circuits on his dialect, might we just assume there was much fighting over who has the biggest bantha and move on to more recent things?
No, I want to hear it all.
Resignation. Very well, Master.
Several hours later.
Translation. The tribes spread far, distant from each other, but all as sand people, and all cherished the land that remained. The sand would not be misused. Translation. Then machines fell from the stars again, outsiders like you that brazenly walked apart from the land. And greater still was the insult to come. Translation. These outsiders reminded them of their past transgression, of the time when they too walked apart from land. The outsiders, your kind, looked like their ancient abducted. Translation. So it is to the current sons that the Sand People hate all outsiders and give them no footing. You come again, time after time, adaptable slaves to the machine.
Are you saying that the Sand People were once human? I want to ask questions about what I just heard.
Cautionary.
Yeah. I want to ask something about the long walk.
Impatience. Master, I refuse to inconvenience you with this. He spouted names of petty tribal fights in deserts so distant they might as well be across the galaxy. Really, Master, I'm sure it's important to him, but it has nothing of value that you could ever put to use.
Not necessarily. We'll have to discuss this impudence, HK-47. Alright, let's go return to my other questions. Is there anything further?
Editing. The last 1,000 years are full of conflicts with different groups of attempted planetary settlers, all of whom are poorly described, long dead, and likely untraceable. I believe I have truncated it down to the usable bits in what was already said. I hope it is enough, Master.
Well, I will return later.
Translation. Translation. We are free to leave.
And that, my friends, is the story of the Sand People. If you would but let us go, thank you. It seems as though the Sand People, in their ancient past, were once human. Or at least something resembling humans. I'm not sure if what they refer to as looking like our kind means simply uncovered and, I don't know, human-like perhaps, but it's been so long since these Sand People, well, these ones would have never seen their former abducted brethren, so how could they say If they don't even remember what the builders looked like, the ones that they hated the most, how could they say whether we looked like it, or whether they're just assuming that to be the case? Hard to say. But, now I have to make the value judgment. Was all that worth the Crate Dragon Pearl? Because we no longer have it, I don't believe, unless it was given back to us. It would be lovely if the game did that and didn't actually take it. It would have been nice if we could just show it to him. But it does seem to be gone from our inventory. I'm going to say that was worth it, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to hear those histories, and that was a lot of relevant information on the builders specifically, who they were, what they were like, and what we're dealing with subsequently. The type of technology that the Sith are after, are searching for, what Revan and Malak were searching for. So, no, I'm alright with that. Although maybe the chief will give us back that pearl if we ask him. Maybe? Yep.
Query. What do you wish to ask of him, man?
I have no further use for him. Kill him. Tell him farewell for now.
Translation. Translation.
Yeah. Well, that's about all. Let's get out of here. We're going to go this way because I think this is the way out. We are now going to return to Anchorhead. That is our business concluded in the Sand People territory. I'm alright with losing that crystal. I'm not happy about it, but we can live. We don't need it. We have the level up still. Let's force speed our way out of this place. For some reason my character's shaking violently here. The camera is... wow, that's never happened before. That's a weird instance. Hopefully that fixes itself once we zone. Tried to fix it by resetting the camera, but I don't think so. Oh wow, that's
yes?
annoying.
Sure.
What is going on with that? I hope that doesn't persist through loads. Not even going to quick save here, because if that actually does persist, I'm going to be a little upset. Okay, thank you. That's good. Right. Do our force speed, hopefully it doesn't screw us up again. No, that's better. We've got some more Desert Raid! Hooray! Let's fight them. Free XP is free XP, and also... of course, I'm rushing in here, Devil May Care. I'm gonna back out of there just for a second. What the hell? Okay, we're alive still. We can keep fighting. Come on, Bastila, let's go. Bastila's saving our ass here with her force heal. We got one more to go. Let's loot all these first. Back to that stuttering jumpiness. That's really disconcerting. I don't care for that at all. What if we switch to walk? B? Oh wow, what the fuck is going on there? I'm gonna quick save, and then I'm gonna reload, and maybe that'll fix it. That did not fix it. Might just be something to do with the desert. I don't know. I do need to be healed, though, first. Everybody's frame rate just went down the tubes. Excellent. Everybody else leveled up too. Good stuff. Desert Raid Plate, another one. Now it's back to normal again. What the hell? Okay.
Ready.
Let's level up HK. Attributes. Alright, so dexterity's going up again to 16. That'll give him better modifiers. For skills, we're going to do repair. We're going to do probably demolitions, I would think. Yeah. For feats, he has received Battle Droid Logic Upgrade. 3. Fully experienced with the rigors of combat, the droid is able to self-upgrade its tactical reasoning and maximize its defensive potential. This feat grants +6 to defense and is always active. This feat replaces the Tactician Logic Upgrade, which is that one. Cool. So, what do we give HK now? Since he already has his Power Blast all maxed out. I think if we have to choose again, we could do toughness. We could give him heavy weapons. Heavy weapons would kind of be cool in case we find, I don't know, a better type of rifle for him, but I'm actually going to give him toughness. I think we'll keep him as a rifleman in the party. Because we've got Karth to be our pistolier and Canderous is spec'd heavy weapons right now, so the only one we're missing is kind of rifles. We'll give him toughness. He'll be even harder to hit. It's good stuff. Now, for some damn reason, Force Valor actually affects droids. That's a little odd to me. Bastila has also leveled. We will level her up. She has attributes to be spent. I think Charisma, maybe? Again? You see, again, I don't know what her friggin' modifiers are. That bothers me. She's wearing Strength Gauntlets right now. Maybe we should do Strength. I'm trying to think of her gear off the top of my head. She's using a Power Belt and Strength Gauntlets, so she has 16 Strength right now, unmodified. So, actually, Charisma would serve her better in this instance. If we get another level up that gives us an attribute point, it'll go into Strength, but we're going to do Charisma. She's starting to become very attractive. Or personable, depending on what system we're using here, I guess. So, awareness and treat injury are at 10. I'm going to keep going with this computer use thing because it'd be good to have a party member in the group that can work on computers that we happen to come across. She has been granted the following feats this level: Force Immunity, Paralysis, so she can no longer be frozen in place, and she's got Master Sense. Master Sense does what? As their connection to the Force continues to strengthen, the Jedi gain supreme sense of self and the actions of others in combat. That actually fits her character really well. This feat grants a +6 to defense and is always active, so she's even more tough to hit now. So some of those problems will be going away. She received Force Immunity to Paralyze, so she can no longer be affected by fear or loss of the senses, and blocks any attempt at paralyzation, so she's immune to stun. Or it replaces Force Immunity to stun. That's cool. And yeah, so fears and stuns, basically. It just sort of, paralysis covers it all. Right, so she has another feat point, though, which is one remaining. Bastila, currently, we can give her, she's already got her 2-weapon fighting maxed out. We can start improving her flurry again to give her some sort of better attack. We can give her proficiency into lightsabers, alternatively Jedi defense. We can add even more blaster bolt deflection rolls. I don't find that terribly useful myself. It's kind of cool, but not really. So basically for me, it's between the +1 attack bonus with lightsabers and the less penalty to flurries on the improved flurry. It's kind of the same thing, really, except one always affects basic attacks and it also affects the flurry as well. I think I'm going to go with just to get her the final feat in lightsaber that she can ever learn, so that she knows how to use it pretty well. She's got a +1 in lightsabers. That's fine. And then the next level ups that we'll give her are going to be flurry and improved flurry. And then if we have anything left over after that, maybe like implant level 1 to give her something that she can use. I don't know. We'll see. That's good for now. Powers. Okay, so this is a little bit more tricky to decide. Instantly leaning towards heal to start off. Yeah, I don't really even have to look at that. It's going to be heal. It's just the amount of times that we use it. It's too good. Next, we'll probably do defense or give her night speed as well. Valor, if we can do it. Get those all fixed up. She also has force resistance that she can potentially cast at some point, energy resistance. She's going to be getting more powers overall than us, but I'm going to have to start being choosy with what we choose to level up. I don't know whether we took Burst of Speed or whether she had it to begin with. I can't remember now, but that might have been a mistake to even bother on her. That's more of like a... I kind of wanted her to be the defensive one, or to be the healer, so that she could do like force armor and force resistance and energy resistance and all that stuff, and valor, instead of being an offensive Jedi, but I don't know. I also want her to have force wave eventually, and even stasis field. I don't know how many more level ups we've got going here. I think she's level 12 now, or level 11, something like that. Yeah, she's a level 12 Jedi Sentinel, so she's got another 8 or 6 level ups to go. So that remains to be seen. But she's got more hit points now. HK has a decent amount of hit points as well. I have another level up. I'm still level 10, so that must mean I'm going to be leveling up twice. Oh no, I'm level 12, so I'll be leveling up once. And yeah, that's it. Close that. Good work, everyone. Let's get back to Anchorhead.